Hey, today's lab is on chemical versus physical changes. And a chemical change, whenever something happens, you create something new. So if it's not the same thing it was before, you know it's a chemical change. With a physical change, it's still the same substance that it was before, it just appears different. So like tearing paper, it's still paper, which is a physical change. If I melt ice, it's still water, that's a physical change. We're gonna run through 4 really quick stations. Your job is to watch it, pause the video whenever you need to, and write down all the observations. Once you write the observations down, you need to decide if what happens is a physical change or a chemical change. We're gonna start with station 1. In station 1, we're going to take ordinary rock salt. So its appearance is like a clear, translucent crystal, okay? The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to grind it. This is called a mortar and a pestle. It's used for grinding solid chemicals. So you're just going to grind it around. And when I'm done, I pulverized it. So it's still salt. So what kind of change is that? You decide. Next thing it says do is to put it in water, and I'm going to stir it, and this process is called dissolving. The salt will dissolve. It's now salt water, so it's the same thing it was before. So you need to decide, is that a physical change or a chemical change? Remember that it's still salt water. All right, that's all we had to do at station 1. Now we're going to move over to station 2. In station 2, we're going to mix baking soda and vinegar in a controlled environment. In this little container is baking soda, so you should write down what it looks like. It's a white powder. I have already transferred the baking soda to a balloon, so it's in there already. This is vinegar, which is a clear liquid. You should know what that smells like. It says get about 10. We're going to really estimate. Get about 10 in there. Put the cap back on for safety. All right, the vinegar is a clear liquid. You're supposed to add a drop of this indicator. This stuff turns pink if a base is present. I put about 20 drops. It didn't change, so there's no base in there. All right, your job was to put the balloon over this, and this is going to be a closed system. If anything happens, it's going to stay in and mix the baking soda. You notice one thing is fizzing like crazy. You're producing a gas. And I can't see any pink in there, but there's supposed to be pink inside this. But regardless, we produced a gas. A gas is a new substance, so this should be a sign that something chemical or physical happened based on what you think. So when we're done, for safety, we're going to take that off. All right, there's a gas made. All right, now we're going to move on to station 3. In station 3, we're doing 3 simple micro well reactions. In this well right here, I've got 1 small piece of magnesium metal. And what I'm going to do is put several drops of hydrochloric acid over it. Miss Hallie's going to get really close. You should notice a lot of vigorous bubbling as the acid is reacting with the metal. We're going to give it a little bit of time, and we'll come back and look at it in just a little bit. But gas formation should be a sign that something chemical happened. The next one says about a half well of sodium hydroxide, which is a clear liquid. Did something right there already. Right here, the one to look at. Look at that one. And then I'm going to put a drop of this phenolphthalein. This is 2 clear liquids. 2 clear liquids. 1 drop, and it turned it that really pretty magenta pink. A color change is a sign of a chemical change. Something new was made that's that color. All right, the third well, we're supposed to put lead nitrate, this PbNO3. Again, this is a clear liquid. And we're going to put this other relatively clear liquid called potassium iodide in it. And immediately it turns this really pretty canary yellow. So from this one, you should see color changes are a sign that something chemical happened. Plus, if you can look down there, if you get really close here, you can see that there's some solid in there. That's the 4th sign of a chemical change, is the formation of a precipitate. This is 2 liquids mixed together that form a solid that sinks out. That's a sign of chemical change right there. If we go back to that acid thing, it's slowly eating the metal away, and I'm going to touch the bottom of the well, and it's very, very hot. So the release of light or heat is another sign of a chemical change. So the release of light or heat, gas bubbling, and color changes are all signs of chemical change. All right, we're going to go to our last one in our fun station. One thing we learned how to do is light the Bunsen burner, and you're going to have to learn to do this yourself, but that's not the purpose of this one. All right, what we're gonna do is heat some things directly and you tell me what happens. So the first thing is a strip of magnesium. And again, I'm gonna light directly in the burner. Except the burner, I cut it off.